psychological factors that reading habits truly are. Words are everywhere, whether we're riding down the road, seeing a stop sign and reading that, or we're reading a book of our favorite genre. As an avid reader myself, oftentimes I've wondered how my reading habits are affecting the way that I think, and as an overthinker, I wondered how other people's reading habits are affecting the way that they think. Today, I would like to take the time to enlighten you all about how your reading habits are potentially impacting the way you think, or who knows, even buying products. A relationship does exist between students' reading habits and their academic writing abilities. A 5-step survey was performed in Indonesia to find out if a relationship exists between reading habits and academic writing. According to Ernie Sukesi in Journal of Social Studies Education Research, the 5-step study proved that strong reading habits typically resulted in strong academic writing abilities. They proved this by combining multiple factors and aspects, combining them and charting them, which finally brought them to this conclusion. So clearly, a relationship does exist between reading habits and academic writing abilities. Another thing that surprised me, a relationship exists between people's product choices and their reading habits. And this has nothing to do with what they read, it's how they read it. According to Atsunori Ariga in PLOS One, people who read horizontally, or hot dog style as we called it in 2nd grade, they're more likely to buy from a horizontal display, whereas people who read vertically, or up and down, they are more likely to buy from a vertical display. Say, an example of this, if you read in English or German or any language that writes from right to left or left to right, they read horizontally, and you're more likely to, the people who speak that language, they are more likely to buy a product from that horizontal display, whereas in Japan, where they read vertically, they were more likely to buy from a vertical display in that way. While the previous evidence on reading habits affecting people's mentalities was positive, there is, of course, always a negative side to the story. Simply because students' reading habits were good does not necessarily mean that they had creative writing skills. There was a study done in 7th grade on 7th grade students in Turkey. The study asked if students' reading habits made a difference in their creative writing skills or not, which I feel is always a reasonable question because one typically affects the other. According to Mustafa Dolmaz and Errol Kaya, an international online journal of educational services, the study showed that the students that they interviewed or studied or whatever, their reading habits did not have a significant difference to their creative writing skills. They ended up narrowing this down to some things that the students would read sparked their creativity and impacted them that way, but some pieces of writing did not. It was very subjective to the material and the person. Again, I have always been an avid reader. I personally feel that that has affected me in my own life, but I had no idea that that my reading habits were impacting the way that I bought products, the way that I thought. I had no idea about that. And I certainly had no idea that they were impacting the way that other people bought products, other people's creative writing abilities, or other people's academic writing abilities. Clearly, reading habits do impact the way that people think. I guess to some people this may seem like useless information, but I guess wondering about thought processes and reading habits are pretty normal for a psychology-fascinated